All right, thanks, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I was shooting dice last night to 4 in the morning, so sorry about the, the late upload, but shout out to my wife for putting up with me shooting dice for way too long. But it was a winning session last night, had another great dice session, but more importantly, we went 5 and 2 yesterday in our 7 premium plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/Brock Page. Now we got ourselves a nice little slate of NBA action here today, so let's go ahead and dive into it. Beginning with the Pelicans taking on the Mavericks, 2 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Dallas. The Mavs are the 8.5-point favorite, total at 232. Saw a half a point fade of Dallas and movement downward on the total. The Mavs open as the 9-point favorite, down to minus 8.5. Total open 232.5, down to 232 even. 67% are leaning Mavericks, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now the Pels are plus 335 on the money line. Now the Pelicans are just 6-16 overall for the year. They're right in the middle of a 7-game losing streak where they failed to cover in 6 out of those 7 games. They're just 3-7 against the number when traveling this year. Favors and Williams are out. They rank in the bottom 3 in points allowed, bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. So not so good for Pels backers thus far in the year. Perhaps they can turn it around, but as of now, really, really bad trends for the Pelicans. Now the Mavs on the other side, winners in 9 out of their last 10. They also successfully covered the number in 9 out of those 10 games. They are 15-6 overall for the year. They rank in the top 5 in scoring. When it comes to the number, Dallas is 14-7 to the over on the year, 7-4 to the over at home. Meanwhile, the Pelicans 60% to the over when traveling. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it down, and take Dallas minus 8 and the over 232 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Pacers taking on the Knicks. 7:30 Eastern tip-off at Madison Square Garden. The Pacers are the 5.5-point favorite on the road, total at 208 and a hook. Saw a 1-point fade of Indiana and movement upward on the total. The Pacers open 6.5, down to minus 5.5. Total open 206 up to 208 and a hook. 66% are leaning Indiana, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now the Knicks are plus $2 on the money line. The Knicks are also right in the middle of an 8-game losing streak where they cover just 3 out of those 8 games. They're also 5-7 against the spread at home, last in scoring, last in field goal percentage. Now the Pacers on the other side, winners in 7 out of their last 9. They also went 6-3 against the spread in those 9 games. The Pacers rank in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in points allowed. When it comes to the total, Indiana's 2-0 to the under in their last 2. They're also 6-5 to the under when traveling. New York on the other side, 9-3 to the under at Madison Square Garden. I'm going to purchase the hook, slide it down, and take Indiana minus 5 and the under 208.5 in that matchup. Next game, Cavaliers taking on the Sixers, 7:30 Eastern tip-off in Philadelphia. The Sixers are the 12-point favorite, total at 214. So a half a point move toward Philly and movement upward on the total. The Sixers open 11.5 up to minus 12. Total open 213.5 up to 214. 60% are leaning Philadelphia, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now the Cavs are plus 60. Let's try that again. The Cavs are plus 645 on the money line. The Cavaliers, they've played 21 games this year, and out of those 21 games, they've covered the spread in just 8 of them. They're also just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. They've dropped 9 out of their last 10 straight up, and they rank in the bottom 3 in scoring. Kevin Love is listed as questionable for tonight's action. The Cavaliers are just 2-7 straight up on the road, bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, the Sixers on the other side, 10-0 straight up at home this year, 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games, played at any location. They rank in the top 10 in field goal percentage, top 10 in offensive rebounding. When it comes to the total, Philly 70% to the under at home, Cleveland 4-2 to the under in their last 6. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me the Sixers minus 12 and the under 214 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Saturday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. where once again we went 5-2 yesterday in our 7 premium selections on that website. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that site as well. We do daily premium selections on that website beginning at just $1.99 per month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And at the end of this program here today, I'm going to explain to you the difference between what we do here on YouTube and what I do on the Patreon page. Now, if you're curious and you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can do that for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. It's right on the homepage. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our next couple of games. Next game is going to be Suns taking on the Rockets, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Houston. The Rockets are the 10.5-point favorite, total at 241. So a half a point move toward Houston and movement upward on the total. The Rockets open 10, up to minus 10.5. Total open 239.5, up to 241. 62% are leaning Houston, 59% shaded toward the under. Right now the Suns are plus 460 on the money line. Now the Suns have covered just 30% of their games in their last 10. They've dropped 7 out of their last 10 games straight up as well. Aaron Baines has been downgraded to doubtful. The Suns also rank in the bottom 3 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive rebounding. Now the Rockets on the other side, they're in the top 3 in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. They're 8-2 straight up at home this year, 3-1 against the spread in their last 4. When it comes to the number, Houston's 5-3 to the over in their last 8. They're also 60% to the over at home. Phoenix on the other side, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to purchase the hook, slide it down, and take Houston minus 10 and the over 241 in that game. And of course, I'm going to slide my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Memphis taking on Utah, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Utah. The Jazz are the 11.5-point favorite, total at 218 and a hook. We saw a 1-point fade of Utah and movement upward on the total. The Jazz open 12.5 down to minus 11.5. Total open 216 up to 218 and a hook. 54% are leaning Jazz, 67% shaded toward the under. Right now Memphis is plus 630 on the money line. Mike Conley is listed as questionable for tonight's action for the Jazz. Utah's covering just 40% of their games at home. They're also 8-14 against the spread overall for the year. Utah's failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. When it comes to the total, the Jazz are 13-9 to the under for the season. Memphis on the other side, 5-3 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Memphis plus 12 and the under 218.5 in that game. And of course, I'm going to slide into my quick pick recap. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I like Memphis plus 12, under 218.5. Houston minus 10, over 241. Indiana minus 5, under 208.5. Philadelphia minus 12, under 214. And last but certainly not least, I like Dallas minus 8 and the over 232 in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we went 5-2 yesterday in our 7 premium selections on that website. We're also hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. We do daily premium selections on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to on that site as well. Now, you're probably wondering what is the difference between what you're doing here on YouTube and that Patreon page, and that's a great question. What I tell people is this. What we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. And to be honest with you, if you were to do that in real life, if you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game, side and total in real life, well, you're going to end up losing your money in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing your money in the short run as well. The books are too, smart. They're too sharp. The math is always against you. They have too much money. They could absorb the losses and the swings. So what we do on Patreon is, we really kind of narrow it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much. My current record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is on YouTube, throwing darts, handicapping every single game, side and total. We don't take free passes. We don't say underdog or pass, or we don't take passes. We formulate an opinion on every game. But that said, if you were to bet every single game, side and total, you're not going to get it done. So anyway, that's what we do on Patreon. Link for that site is in the description section below. You can actually check out my current record for free right on the homepage. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Oh, I forgot to slide into our shout-outs. Sorry about that, guys. Here's some shout-outs, once again brought to you by patreon.com. Shout out to Stephen Purchase, Marco Smith, Blood Money, Jay Carabillo, 46, Robert Scott, Tom Ochoa, Straight to the Point, Jamal Aiken, Guardian Angel, 138, Vernon Williard, Mr. Reyes, Ken Ron Barnes, Stephen Lewis, Godbody J, and last but certainly not least, Dirk Money Swag Fly. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our Spanish edition, also known as Edición en Español. Yo tengo Memphis con puntos y los bajos, Houston menos 10 y las altas, Indiana menos 5 y los bajos, Philadelphia menos 12 y los bajos, y finale Dallas menos 8 y las altas. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Now, guys, since I had a bender last night and I got home really late or early, depending on your time of reference, I do have an eye doctor appointment in about an hour, so I will not be able to come out with the NHL and the college basketball leans today. But on my Patreon page, I do have an NHL premium selection, and I do have a college basketball selection there as well. So if you are itching for action in both of those sports, sign up on Patreon, man. We got some great plays on that site. And once again, packages begin at just $1.99 per month. But like I said, most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.